are back with another game from the yearly Super Blitz Arena, and this one goes along with the London System repertoire that I have recommended in the Palm Beach Chess YouTube playlists. And in fact, I believe I have this one on the closed playlist on our Patreon. So I have more specialized content on the Palm Beach Chess Patreon, where the YouTube channel has around 1,200 videos or so. Patreon has about 200. And I've gotten specific requests on series and other things. So if you're interested, check out in the description below. We've got a link to the Patreon. Appreciate any and all support. But back to it with the game. Bishop d6, we have this dynamic. I don't want to capture the bishop, which would in turn help black develop, so I drop back to g3. We would be happy to see this capture, as we'll be able to utilize the open file, and often we can castle queenside in those scenarios. So black continues to keep tension. I do the same. Let's go ahead and have the engine on. And we're reaching a critical moment here. Now, queen e2 is definitely the best move. And after bishop b7, rook d1, you play a waiting game. And rook e8, for instance, e4, you get a dynamic game, which is considered roughly balanced, as we see in, say, the Kwong Liam Caruana 2017. Now, I just went with castles because I'm okay, and at this point, black should definitely take, as there's no utilizing the open H file anymore due to castling, and you just get an equal position. Normally, you're going to take, do some kind of collie like e4. It's a game. But with bishop b7, my opponent gives me a single move, and with the single move, I have the opportunity to drop in knight e5, followed by f4. Rook e8 was a waste, and now white has a dream position in the London system, which to me kind of hurts to say. But after f4, queen c7, now it's a matter of getting the bishop out of the way and making this attack work. Now, being I don't play these types of positions, I do mess up the attack, but let's see how I could have had better execution. So first, bishop h4. This doesn't spoil anything, as I'm looking at the right moment to capture on f6. So after bishop e7, queen f3, looking to slide the queen right on over, as we have strong example games in the database with this exact position. a6, on the other hand, does nothing. It says, I pass, I want you to hit me. Now, queen h3 would be the most effective way of moving forward here, and after knight e4, not with the bishop. We want the bishop. Taking this way to where we've got some potential hitting there, and white would maintain a substantial edge. Now me, I decide to take here, then go queen h3, and I encourage my opponent to improve his position. What you should do, though, is knight df3, invite everybody to the party. And this just doesn't seem easy for black by any means. Now, I went queen h6 first, and I thought I would be able to play after queen h4, rook f3, rook h3. But with this knight coming to f5, you got to make decisions. g4 is definitely the right way to go in order to take away f5. So now I realize that I'm not going to be able to play for mate. So let's change gears. Provoke that. And I decide to go back and say, okay, let's try to crack this open. And everything was going well until this moment, because black had the bishop pair. He was finally starting to get some counterplay. Now I am more than happy to simplify into this ending where knights are going to be better than bishops. And without your bishop pair, you got nothing. the entire character of the game changed in the course of about 3 moves there, where we went from a complicated and interesting middle game to black is completely busted in this end game. So let's see the technique for putting the opponent away here. Eliminate counterplay as much as possible. Want to see open file? No open file for you. Okay, so your king is coming in. You have the potential of the h-pawn being weak. All right, knight f3. We'll watch the critical g5 square, slowing down the progression of the pawn. And in the event that, say, rook h8 is played, I can play h4, securing g5 as well as protecting it by the knight. So takes. All right. Stop all that. Stop that. Now let's improve the position. No weaknesses, no problems. I don't want him to get in too quickly. So I jettison the pawn. Now one falls after another. And after this, simplify the win. And we've seen in previous games in this series, 2 connected pass pawns in a rook and pawn endgame is more than enough. But I, of course, eliminate counterplay. And my opponent runs out of time as I have a few too many pawns for him to put up any sort of reasonable defense in this position. Following along with London System Prep from our Patreon course.